How's it going? My name's Sam and welcome to Skaz Makes. I am a woodworker and a model maker. I make custom furniture and home decor, and you are about to watch my first professional table build. Just like any YouTube woodworking video, this starts with milling up a shit ton of walnut. All of my work is done out of a community workshop based in Birmingham in the UK, and in this community workshop they have a wood workshop and it has all the equipment required to do these builds. It's an incredible space called Fizz Pop, and this business would not be possible without it, so I will forever be grateful for allowing me to start my business last year here. Here I'm just changing over the blade in the table saw, moving from an 80 tooth blade that I use for cross cutting and sheet materials and changing it over to a ripping blade, which is just 40 teeth. It might feel like a small difference, but because of the amount of hardwood that I'm going to be ripping in the next few cuts, I felt it important. So let me tell you a little bit about this build. The client are a couple who live out in Wales, and they came to me saying they wanted a centerpiece for this new room, living space that they have, that they're designing. And they wanted something that when they walk in, it's curvaceous and it's pretty and it draws your eye in. So I do all my designs on Rhino 3D, which is a CAD software, and I can adjust it really easily until I find something that the client's happy with. And so here you can see me hand planing and getting the surfaces as flat as possible, because as it's community machinery, it's not perfectly dialed in. And once these are flat, I'm gluing up some 1.5 inch walnut together to get the thickness for the legs. I think one thing that will always be awkward in a community space is when you use every single clamp. Because if someone comes in that evening and they're like, I need to clamp something together, there's absolutely no chance. But yeah, I tried to come in late and take them all off so that they're back to use again. With all these blanks glued up together, I got to work making the template to cut out the legs. I did a very old school method of getting a consistent curve for the outside of the leg on some MDF. I typically don't like to use computer aided manufacturing in my work. It's part of a selling point of my stuff that it's all done by hand with hand tools and cabinet machinery. I'm going to cut out the template on the bandsaw and then shape it with a disc sander and with a oscillating sander. I'm just running the glued up pieces back through the planer to get them nice and flat on one side, and then using the cross cutting sled to cut them to length. Unfortunately, the blade height doesn't go all the way through, and instead of flipping it over and cutting it again, I just decided to use a flush trim bit in the hand router to get that cut nice and flush on the ends. Here I'm using a Sharpie just to draw on the template onto the piece. I'm doing this just because a Sharpie has a thicker line, so when I go along and make the bandsaw cuts initially, I've got a bit of wiggle room. Here as well, I'm just marking sections not to cut out, and I'll explain why later. an amazing thing about the community workshop as well. That's an old school dowel jig, and I think they're quite a lot of money, but it's just something the space has, and it makes these little jobs nice and easy. I wanted to just dowel these together to ensure that they're nice and flat and go up. But yeah, here I am cutting out the legs with the bandsaw. I'm just double siding the template back onto the piece, and then I'm just using God's gift to woodworkers, which is the flush trim bit, just to get the walnut to the exact same shape as the NDF template. This initial one, it has a top bearing on it, which means that the bearing runs on top of the piece, and then it has the straight bit underneath. This means that I can make the first few passes referencing the template down as far as the bit will go. Here you see me just taking the template off, and then I can just reference the top of the piece now. And finally, to get the last bit of material off, I use a top bearing flush trim bit, again just referencing the top of the piece, which now has the template profile. It might seem a bit early to be doing some sanding, but when these are glued up, these are going to be at such an awkward angle. Here you see me checking for square just to make sure I haven't sanded off a wonky side. But yeah, once these are glued up, getting in there to sand just seems a pain, and I didn't want to do it later. Just popping these into clamps here, and my god, I always find it so difficult to clamp up glue ups when there's dowels involved. It just seems like if you're not pushing perfectly square, I suppose that's the whole point of them, but if you're not pushing perfectly square, you get little gaps. Hopefully you were able to see why I kept those pieces on the outside. It was so when I was clamping together, I had some parallel surfaces. But the glue up went successful, and as you can see by the spirit level that I have here, I managed to get them perfectly straight. Here I'm just using the track saw to shore up the ends and get the legs the exact same height. Whenever I'm using the track saw on hardwood, especially when I'm going across the grain, I like to do multiple passes, starting with just like a score cut. Because if you can do, an extra couple of minutes before and during your cut to ensure that you don't get tear out, it just saves you a lot of time down the line. It's really not worth, doing it quickly just to skip it. Again, the blade depth doesn't quite get all the way through the material, so here I'm just chiseling away the excess and then going back to the flush trim bit to get the surface all squared. And then the beauty shot, just showing that everything is perfectly in square, which is always satisfying. I skipped just cutting off those extra bits with the bandsaw. I actually decided to reuse the template but move it in slightly from before. This is just to ensure that the curve flows perfectly, so I'm just recutting the outside to take off the middle section, but just also maybe a millimetre off the total curve. And then weirdly enough, I actually sent these through the drum sander. This was definitely a case of if you have the tool, use it, because it felt really unconventional, but at the same time I was like, the best way to get it flat and start off the sanding process is to make use of this. Here you just see me filling in any holes that were left with the classic super glue and sawdust. And that finishes up part 1 of this build. The legs are complete and I'm moving on to the top next, so be sure to tune in to the next video to see how this make goes. Thanks for watching and have a good rest of your day.